Hey, what's going on?
We're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports with Mo and Mel. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. And to commemorate this beautiful day, I have broken out my Bitter Lake basketball jersey. This was the very first team I was ever on, probably in elementary school. I think probably 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, you can still fit it?
I'm guessing it was a little bit baggy.
Elementary school?
No, I just think it was baggy. I think it was like a t-shirt. Now it's kind of like a tight, I don't know.
Right, show it off.
Dug it out the crate.
The fact that you're wearing a kid's tee, I'm just questioning everything about the size of you in elementary school.
I mean,
which tells me
I was still about like size. I was still probably about like 5'7", 5'8". I didn't have like I wasn't fully 5'10" yet, but I mean, I was
pretty impressive if you can wear that shirt. It's pretty impressive that you can still wear that shirt. I don't think I can squeeze into any of my teen tees. Not even look close.
I just feel like it was baggy. It was like a baggy shirt. It fit loose. Like now it's like a tight shirt.
Okay.
So, all right. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hey, Nate. Thanks for joining in. We appreciate you. Hey, if you're watching, we got a great show. We got a great guest coming up. If you have daughters, if you have nieces, if you have grandchildren, if you have other girls in your life that mean something to you, please stay tuned. We've got a great lady coming on. She's an author that's going to be publishing her first book. And it's all about girls and the empowerment of sports and empowerment of girls in sports. So we can't wait to have that on. Other than that, it's the final week of me and football.
Yeah, how are you feeling about that?
I'm not feeling great.
What are you gonna do?
I guess I gotta start. I gotta start watching basketball.
Oh,
that's really what I have to do.
Your Bulls are even playing tonight right now. They're playing the Knicks right now.
Yeah, I'm still mad at them losing that Portland Trailblazers game last minute, but
yeah, what are you gonna do? Hopefully they can make it up with the Knicks. They're down by 10 as of the third quarter when I last checked. So
really?
Hopefully they gain some steam back.
Oh man.
But this is a good. Hey, Bill Logan, checking in the chat. Hope you join.
Look at Tilly's foster family's watching.
Oh, right, Tilly's foster family, Lexi, foster mom, and
foster mama.
Is she also the sitter too? Is she the sitter? Does she watch the dog too when you're away?
Yes, my part-time custodial parent.
You co-parenting.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. You need help. The help.
I mean,
for real, like a handful.
It really is. It can be. It can be.
So it sounds like a very, very huge handful. So at times.
So we might as well just get this underway. So if you guys are watching, just please watch this next little video clip was posted by ESPNW today in honor of National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. So please watch it. And right after, we'll be joined by our guest, Emily Williams. Thank you very much.
Yeah, check it out.
Time for one more thing before we go. This is really cool. Sarah Thomas will make history as the first woman to officiate in a Super Bowl. She will be the down judge for the Super Bowl this season. Shout out to Sarah and shout out to the NFL for making this happen. Mina, what do you think?
I love it. Making history.
Football has played a very impactful role in my life.
Here we go. What y'all doing? Push your guard up.
I fell in love with refereeing junior high school games, college, and now in the NFL.
She has been spot on.
This is how it works. Pioneers achieve. And these days, anywhere girls look, they see what can be.
Sarah Fuller is about to put her right foot into a football, speaking volumes to women around the world.
The Miami Marlins shattering baseball's gender barrier by hiring Kim Ning as their general manager.
I think it's all about hard work and perseverance. You can't just quit on yourself.
They see progress.
The Spurs' Becky Hammon, she's the first woman to act as a head coach in a regular season NBA game.
Reading and rebounding. Let's go. Defense. 1, 2, 3. Defense.
Women went before me to pave that trail.
They see history. Barriers broken.
Boys, move over. The lady is coming through.
And ceilings shattered.
It's over. Complete game for Monet Davis.
And they see what once was only imagined become real.
But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last.
And on Super Bowl Sunday, when they watch Sarah Thomas, they will see what can be.
Knowing the impact that I'm having on not just my daughter, but young girls everywhere. It means a lot to me.
Hey.
Love it.
Wasn't
just
that great?
That glass ceiling all over the place.
I love it.
Glass ceiling shattered. Just keep going, ladies. Keep going. This is like an ultimate culmination of girl power. And not only for Sarah Thomas to be the first official, but there's like 3 other ladies that are going to be featured on Super Bowl Sunday that are working as defensive coordinators for Tampa Bay. You've got women on the field for both teams in their role capacity. So I'm ecstatic. I think this is just so amazing. And on a day like today, who could ask for more? So
I love it. Well, thanks for tuning in. Our boy B Sal was saying what's up Goose from Let the Ball Bounce every Tuesday and Saturday. You guys watch them. We appreciate you. Wasn't that a great? I know Nate loved it. So, and then let's get Emily on because her mother-in-law is in the chat. Let's get her on. Let's get her on. Emily, hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. It's way past my bedtime on the East Coast over here, but I'm here.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you for staying up late for us. We appreciate it as well. But it was just kind of coincidence. This is the power of social media, you guys, because if you're out there, we connect. We've had many people that we've met just through social media alone on the show. We came in contact with you. You came in contact with us. And it just so happened it was like right before National Girl, Women in Sports Day. So it works out well because you've got a book coming up. So we want to talk about that. So give everybody a little idea about your book, the name, and how you got the idea, what your inspiration was.
Yeah, so my first book is called Lady-thletes, which honestly read a lot easier in my brain before I tried to say it the first time. So it was born out of the pandemic to really start. I wasn't able to coach because I am a youth basketball coach for girls, and I wasn't able to coach. We weren't able to play sports. So I have all these messages and all these things I like to say to my players. And I was like, I'm going to write them down and see what happens. And it just kind of slowly started coming out. Every lesson I've taught turned into a section, turned into a chapter, and it just kind of built itself over the second half of 2020. And the true inspiration did come from my first team I coached. I talk about them all the time. My first team was this catalyst for me falling back in love with basketball and just seeing the joy and watching them grow as not just players, but as people. Watching wallflowers turn to my starters. It's just the best feeling to know that I had a hand in it. They do it all themselves. Players do all the hard work themselves. I just get to kind of guide them along the way. And through all these different experiences, that's kind of how Lady-thletes was born. And it's been an experience and a journey. And of all the things COVID-19 brought, I'm happy this is one of them.
That's amazing. So I know that you played sports growing up, and it sounds like, I don't know if it was just basketball, if it was more than just basketball, but I know you had kind of like a feeling as like when you stopped playing that there was like this sense of something missing and kind of getting back into it. So I guess what is your goal in writing this book for, the younger generation, for girls coming up?
So I've done a lot of research. So just so I could understand what market do I want to hit, what audience do I want to talk to? Do I want to talk to college players? Do I want to talk to high school? And I really found there's a huge drop-off rate from middle school to high school girls stopping to play sports. They just they give up. There's some barrier, there's something in their way, and that's where the drop-off is for a lot of players. And I had my drop off from basketball junior year because I specialized, which they're now advising do not specialize in one sport, play a bunch of sports because you're more prone to injury. And that's what happened to me. I pulled both my knees in the wrong direction, essentially. And I had my drop. My muscles had were developed in one spot and underdeveloped in another spot. So what had happened was I had an injury and I just couldn't keep up, and my confidence was shattered. And so I actually joined the track team because I had a friend who was like, walk on to track. And I was like, okay. So then I finished out high school on the track team. But the goal of this book is to keep girls going because there's more on the other side. Push through don't push through an injury, but try your best, keep your confidence up. Keep going. There's more there. And whatever the barrier is, you can work through it. Because for me, a lot of my barriers were psychological. Either there was a girl on the team I didn't get along with, or I had leadership confidence issues, and kind of walk through all of those throughout the book, and how, as an adult looking back, how I would like to handle those if I had another chance.
Awesome. Leah, got Leah that just commented for you too. I don't know, Emily, maybe if we unplug your earphones, I'm not sure, because I know that Mo, does it sound a little in and out to you? Sorry, we're live, so we
just a tad, but you can try
I
it.
would just maybe unplug them to see if that.
Yeah, I actually have another I can try.
No,
that's probably actually better without the headphones. Maybe.
Is it better?
Turn volume down, maybe.
Turn my volume down.
I don't know if you're playing it on something because maybe it has an echo. But
it's probably coming back through the computer.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes, we can hear you. It's not coming in. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
No, thank you.
No problem.
Technical difficulties, it happens, no big deal. But anyway, so coming back to, I guess we want to be able to share. I know right now it's tough. Kids are staying at home for school in most places. They're not getting the opportunity to not only go to school and interact with friends, but now a lot of, I know especially out here in Vegas, like high school sports for the fall has already canceled for most sports. Like, and I don't know about out there, but then now kids aren't able to go and do their, PE classes live. They're not able to go take part in school sports. I know there's some AAU sports that are out there, but what exactly, can parents, can family members focus on to help their kids kind of get through this time during COVID and hopefully use, kind of, I don't know what's available right now or what they can do to help their kids get through this difficult time. Because I know for me, it would be tough to be at home, not going to school. And then on top of that, you can't even go play sports with your friends.
Exactly. And the pandemic is definitely hitting kids a little bit different than it's hitting adults. Adults, we don't have that same psychological need for social acceptance because we've gotten through adolescence. That's something that impacts adolescents more than it does impact adults because we already worked through it, kind of. I mean, some of it comes with us. So what I've seen, at least in the area I'm at, there are programs that are implementing COVID rules. So really doing research and digging in and being proactive as a parent to find those programs and opportunities, and even working within your rec department, reaching out saying, hey, is there anything available? Can we do anything to help support you if you have the bandwidth as a parent? Also, I think even just letting kids going and hanging out socially distant with their friends and working on some skills. I mean, you can always work on individual skills, bringing in a coach to be like, all right, let's do, I'm pick on basketball, ball handling. Y'all can be 6 feet apart, wearing a mask and doing some handwork, and bring your own ball, and just being proactive and finding new ways to engage with the sport, with the pandemic parameters. Anything's possible, and we are all very creative, and just figuring it out and finding what works for your child, I think, is the most important piece.
What about, what was I going to say? As far as like, what are some of the lessons, or what you, I don't know how to say it, I guess, is what are some of the things, what are some of the, I guess, parts of your book that were, or that since you've been working on it, what are some of those, do you have any favorite sections of your book that really kind of stand out to you?
Yes, I have a section about the skill set of time management and compartmentalization. I had this coach I did one-on-one lessons with him, and he, I think, is like 6'7" or 6'8", and I'm 5'6". So he's this giant human, and then there's me, and he's teaching me life lessons while teaching me how to shoot basketball. And the biggest one he taught me was about compartmentalizing, because him and I started our work over the summer, and then it went into the school year, and all of a sudden my free time's taken up, and I was having such a hard time focusing during our practices. He stopped everything we were doing, and he looked at me. He's like, "What are you thinking about?" And I'm like, "To be honest, I'm thinking about math class." And he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I'm not doing well in it." And it just opened this dialogue of stop trying to think about other things. When you're at basketball, focus on basketball. When you're in math class, focus on math class. So just learning how to kind of separate my thoughts, and so that I could excel at each part when I was at the task at hand, was such a huge asset to me going through the rest of high school and into adulthood, because multitasking is really appealing. And I want to do it all the time. I mean, I would love to be able to sit on this and then also be doing my work emails and then also be working on other book stuff.
Right.
But I know I wouldn't be successful at having this conversation with you or as engaged if I was doing the 700 things at the same time. So that whole section is my favorite, and he was such an inspiration to me. I'm like, this is for you, Coach Fabi. This is yours.
Well, and I think for most of us that have watched the Tiger Woods documentary, we see how compartmentalizing really plays a role in really excelling in a sport or just in general in life, to be able to kind of turn your brain off and focus on just one thing. It really worked for him, at least for a majority of his career. And we see how that goes.
But then he negated it. He let it go into his emotional attachments to things and feelings. Are you able, Emily, to detach that part of it? Because compartmentalizing your feelings is totally different than compartmentalizing things that you're focusing on to get the task done. Is that something that you're able to separate? Because it seemed like with Tiger, seeing that documentary, he was able to, he used it in every aspect. And to some, with the emotions and attachment, doing that type of behavior was probably to his detriment of having any kind of empathy or any kind of feelings and emotions.
So I think you still have to keep as long as you're not being over emotional or overreacting in a place where it takes away from you. So you lose a game. You got to accept your loss. Because I do talk about working through feelings rather than just like detaching and ignoring. So that's another section where I talk about life isn't always fun. It isn't always hunky-dory, and kind of walking through how you deal with it. So I do address the emotional aspect, because you have to respect yourself. And as women, we are told we always have to multitask, and we are too emotional. Wrong. Multitasking, there's so many studies that say multitasking is unhealthy, so don't tell women that they're good at it, because no one's good at it.
Right.
And then we're not overly emotional. We might be more compassionate or empathetic. I could totally get on board with that. But categorizing as, if I'm having a bad day and I cry, I'm allowed to feel my feeling, but I also know I have to work through it, because tell me I'm over emotional, I might shove it down. And then I won't feel anything. And that's totally unhealthy. That's not how we should approach emotions.
Wow. Well, what about, so I guess you mentioned a thing about how most girls in sports usually stop playing between middle school and high school. Did you come up with any conclusions as to why that usually is? Or is it just a lack of desire or lack of support? Or what kind of things did you find as far as what that reasoning is?
They spread the gamut. There's been so many studies trying to understand why girls in sports have different barriers than boys in sports. And it comes down, sometimes there's access issues. She may not be able to get to practice, or she might have an issue like affording it. So there's the financial access, and then like the physical access. It comes down to support at home. If mom needs you home after school to take care of the other siblings, but your brother, who's about the same age, can go play sports, and you're the one taking that responsibility on. Then there's also confidence. Confidence is a huge thing. If I just listened to a talk about different coaching styles, and how being that super aggressive, like the coach that throws the chair, that can totally rack a girl's confidence, and she's not going to walk in the room. Like I don't want to make him angry or her angry because she's gonna throw a chair. But rather than creating a safe space where it's like you can come in and make mistakes and it's fine, but I'm going to show you how to get better. So there's so many different facets to why girls drop off. I would love it to be black and white. This is why we fix the problem, but I think it comes down to all the barriers women face across the board.
So true. So true. And the other thing I thought was interesting too was when it comes to like women in sports, like, you know, we all seem to think, you know, it's basketball. And now we see girls playing football and it's softball and baseball and soccer, but there's also like cheerleading, there's gymnastics, there's swim. So there's other facets of athleticism that's not in your basic like main 4 groups of sports. And I think it's important for young girls to know that they can try anything. Like when I was growing up and when me and Mo were growing up, we didn't know that football was an option for girls. We didn't know that, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know. We had powder puff. They labeled it powder puff football,
Exactly.
a flag football term that we played, or I played senior year of high school as that kind of girl on girl type competition of some sort in the football arena. But to label it powder puff, why?
Exactly.
I still never know where that name derived from. I still don't. Maybe I need to look into that to see.
Yeah, someone finally explained it. Actually, the reason why I named the book Lady-thletes has to do with labels. Mm-hmm. So it was something that came up when I was going through high school, where if your sports team had a gendered name. So I'm in Massachusetts. We have a canal, the Cape Cod Canal. The school right next to it, their sports mascot was the Canalman. And they're trying to figure out how to address the gender issue of their mascot. So what a lot of schools started doing is if they had a gendered mascot, they would name their girls team the Lady Canalman.
Of course.
And at first, like, you're like, oh, that's so cool. But then my brain, as I got older, I was like, I don't like this, because when I think of a lady, I think of someone like prim and proper, but then also the connotations of like, you're spoken to, you're seen but not heard, you know, it's almost second class, the word lady. And even when you look up the definition in the dictionary, it does. The lady pays homage to a knight or lover. So by calling a team the Lady Canalman, this team now pays homage to the boys version. And that just got me all sorts of riled up. So I'm like, you know what? Let's reclaim the word and make it empowering and kind of take its definition back, because it's not going to be perfect unless the team changes their mascot completely. And I think we should really take these terms and start flipping them around, flip the script, be like, yeah, I'm a lady, but I'm a lady-thlete. I'm an athlete, and I'm better than anything you could imagine.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
And that's funny because I know like the UNLV school out here is the guys are the running rebels, but the girls are the lady rebels, which is nice because, I mean, it kind of sounds cool for a second, but then you're like, well, why do they have to have lady? I mean, why do you have to have a lady in front of it? It doesn't
exactly.
Make sense. You know,
yeah.
I
think the Rebels women's basketball team now.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I haven't heard I get what you're saying, because I remember Lady Rebels, and I think they still have it as their thing, but I think the jargon now is the women's running Rebels or women's basketball team. Yeah.
Good.
Well, another thing too that I wanted to talk about is because I know just in like listening to all the women that we've seen in that video earlier, as well as like through, you know, when you see interviews with the WNBA players or other women that have made it so high up in sports, it's because of a coach or someone that was a figure in their life that was there for them. Maybe because coaches are kind of like, I mean, after practices, 2-a-days, I mean, weekends, out of state tournaments, they're like your second family, and you're basically turning to them for any problems, issues, problems at home. I mean, things that are, I mean, they're like a second outlet for you. So it's kind of, it's almost like a second, a family where you have that extra bubble around your life for help or girl problems, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. And coaches are so important to an athlete. They're not quite a teacher and they're not quite a parent. They're this other adult they can lean on, and not to use like psychology words, but it's a social event. It's something where this adult is trained to be in this position. Coaches have to go through training. We have to go through, if the program's good, they put you through training. They don't just send you right in and say, good luck. They put you through some kind of training. and they know how to handle these, and they want to help you. Coaches do not want you to be afraid to come to them. They want to have these dialogues. If you're me and I can think of this one girl, her and I did not get along on the team, and it was plain as day outside of the gym. But you put us in the gym, put us on the court together, you'd think we were best friends. It was the weirdest phenomenon that like our coach kept putting us together, and eventually it got to me, and I went to him crying like, I can't play with her. And he's like, why? Because you guys do great on the court. And I'm like, because XYZ. Then I went through all the social issues that were going on, and he was able to step in and kind of be there for me while I'm literally crying at 15 years old to this like 30-year-old man who's just like, and at first you would think that'd be weird, but he totally took it in stride, and he was able to help me find solutions. And he wasn't talking to me like my mom would, and he wasn't talking to me like a teacher would. It was a really great moment to be like, okay, I got this, and being able to really talk to me as an athlete and as someone going through a hard time.
Yeah, and I think they also give you that constructive criticism, and mostly usually do it in a beneficial way. Like I know for me, when I was growing up, like my dad was always the angry parent that's like, you could have done this, you could have done that. And my mom would be like, well, but your coach is the one that's like, listen, here's what happened. This is what you need to do. Focus on this, try this. I mean, granted, both my parents helped me a lot as far as getting athletic and having a skill and working out with me in the, off times or making sure I was getting to practices. But I think it's important to realize how important those coaches are. And I think sometimes coaches take that for granted and not realizing the importance of their own role in some of these, maybe like you said, lesser accredited places where maybe they aren't getting the teachings and the programs and the background they have to make it good for the students and make it good for the kids. But
yeah. I don't know if you've heard about Miss Val from UCLA. She's the gymnastics coach out there, and she has a great story because she went in with one strategy and it failed. It totally failed. She went in as kind of the hard-headed coach who was gonna be angry and assertive, and she actually was smart enough and reflective enough to take the step back and realize that something was wrong, and she turned inward and said, what am I doing wrong to her gymnasts? And they're like, we don't like your coaching style. And she totally flipped the script. And now look at Nia Dennis. Like, look at all these girls she's producing who are just hitting it so hard because she's giving them the opportunity to grow. And I think she's the prime example of why coaches, whether it's volunteer, paid, or other, need to take their job seriously, because you're giving an opportunity for a person and you need to nurture it.
And it's something that not everybody can do. Not everybody can be a coach. Not everybody can be in that type of role. So Emily, let me ask you, I know you mentioned one coach that you are paying homage to. Is there another high profile coach that you always look to or was a fan of or said, that's the kind of style that I like in any of the aspects? It could be male or female, but is there one particular that stood out to you that got you into the coaching bug?
If I said when Kevin Garnett had to sit on the bench when he got injured, way back when on the Celtics, when he got injured and he was sitting on the bench and he was being like a coach, I was like, that's when I'm done being a player. That's what I want to convert to, was that kind of style on how he took it in stride. Because sometimes you think, oh, player to coach, is that a downgrade? And he took it like, nope, it's just a new role I'm going to step into and own it. And just, I think that mindset transition is what really inspired me, being like, oh, I could do that next in my sports career. So I think Kevin Garnett's little injury moment got a light bulbs going in my brain.
Very cool. Very cool.
I love it. So is there like some words of wisdom that you'd offer to girls, not say just the parents now, but to girls on maybe communicating, being able to, I don't know, because I know sometimes it's hard to, if your family doesn't have the funds or you don't have the transportation, or is there something that you can convey to younger girls that maybe could watch this or see this or read your book eventually as to some tips on what they can do to kind of keep themselves involved and maybe to be able to access those kind of sports and being able to, learn these skills to help them in the future?
Yes, one, I say definitely read my book. I'm going to say definitely to do that.
Shameless plug. Love it.
Yeah.
But I think there are so many organizations out there now, and everyone has hopefully has access to the internet. I know there's some areas in this country that still don't, but if you can go online and look them up, I know every kid's sport organization, they help with funds and access, and that's really their mission, getting in touch with other players, older players, maybe if someone has a car, if it's a car transportation issue, really linking up and building your support network is what's going to get you through, especially if, say, your access issue is confident. If you build a support network of other female athletes, nowadays, I think depending on the sport, if I think it's more team oriented, they want to build you up because everyone knows the weakest link. So if you can make the weakest link stronger, instead of using that analogy to be like, you're only as strong as your weakest player, that's a bad thing. Why don't you say that's a good thing? Because then we will build you up so then we can all be great. And I think that's kind of the mindset shift that's been going on. And individual sports, swimming, dancing, and gymnastics, I think there's also a mindset shift going on too. That's what I've been kind of tuned into. I've been seeing this less me, but more like, no, we're all in it together. We win or lose, even if we're marked individually, we win or lose as a team. So we all have to succeed.
And with you growing up playing basketball, and I know I don't personally know your age, but I know that you're younger than me and Mo.
Speak for yourself.
Not to throw us under the
bus. Speak for yourself. I'm with you, Emily. Whatever age you are, we're rolling with it for me.
Sounds great. Let's go with it.
I know for us, like the WNBA really wasn't around until later on when we were already past our real young years. I won't say too young, but
when we were kids.
Yes, we didn't have that. So is there anybody that you looked up to in the WNBA, having played basketball, that was kind of like an idol, or like, I always had Michael Jordan in my room growing up. Like, I don't know if girls out there, if they had posters of some of these WNBA players growing up in their rooms, or what their role models were in the league.
Yes, I actually had a BC college girl who I looked up to because she was on American Idol and she played college ball at BC. Ayla Brown, I believe her name is. That's the one that's coming to my brain. We're going to roll with it. So she was like my idol. I told my mom all the time, I was like, I want to be like her when I grow up. I want to play college ball at BC, and I want to be on American Idol. Because I saw her as like everything I wanted. And she also looked like she had brown hair. I was like, Mom, that's me. That is me in whatever amount of years it's going to be. And it's just like, okay, Emily, I can be you. But I remember she was on TV. I mean, she was a girl basketball player on TV, and it wasn't so. Sports coverage for female sports is like 4% to 7% compared to men. So actually seeing a female athlete, I think that was the first time it hit me. Like, you play sports after high school was when I saw her play, and so I think that was where it started clicking for me. Like, wait, I can do this longer than just playing at the school down the street. So I think for me, it's still college ball was where it ended. And now I'm so impressed hearing all the language around. I learned the other day, there's a women's National Hockey League. I didn't even know that. I'm following the Boston Pride. I'm like, wait, where have I been? And so it's so exciting getting to have these conversations and learning about all the women's professional sports that are out there. And I'm really hoping that our TV networks get on board and start having them more often.
Most definitely. I know that the Women's Hockey League, I was like, wait, what? And then I know that I think some of the games or schedule had been cut down because of COVID this season, or the championship might have been. But hockey, rugby, women in rugby, like I'm amazed by the athleticism that I see. But if you're tuning in now, please welcome and joining us, Emily Williams, author of Lady-thletes, that will be coming out shortly and soon. If you are tuning in, or if you're listening to the podcast audio wise later on one of the podcast platforms, if you can, maybe go to YouTube, check out the video we posted, because I think that video I had from ESPNW was just phenomenal. Like, being able, if I was a kid like that girl in that video, and you're seeing women that are coaching in the NBA, women that are driving NASCAR races, women that are, NFL
GMs
referees,
of MLBs,
head coaches of the WNBA. I mean, it's just like, there's so many things that I wish I could have saw as a kid that could have maybe inspired me, or I think at some point, like maybe in like high school, I was kind of like, like I'm not great enough to go play like at D1. And at that point I was like, well, there's nothing else to do. Like, I need to go to school. I need to graduate. I need to have a career. Like, those were options growing up when I was growing up. So to be able to see those things young and go, oh my gosh, like when the girl Googled women in sports, I was like, I would have, first of all, we didn't have internet. But to be able to like actually have and do that and be able to think, oh my God, these women are out here doing such major things. Like, it's phenomenal. And it's phenomenal for you too, like to be able to meet people like you that are actually writing books on it, or that are interacting with their community, or that are doing other things to help kind of get that word out. I mean, I guess kind of like Mo and I, but had we thought of this like, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, who knows? But it's like, everybody's kind of coming around to the idea that women are powerful, which they have always been.
Oh yeah. We always have been. It's the dirty secret no one wants to talk about.
No, I know. They don't want to give credit sometimes, but it's okay. We deal with it. We're strong. But Emily, is there anything else about the book? Do you have an expected time frame or timeline as to when it might be done?
Yeah, so actually we're in the editing phase now, and I believe we're like in that final stretch, which is super exciting to kind of watch it go from being this brainchild of mine and like typing in my office at weird hours of the day to all of a sudden like handing it over to an editor and be like, can you make sure I have commas in the right place? So that's kind of exciting. And we're like right in that final stretch. And I'm hoping March. That's like my dream date to get it out. If I would have had it out today, I thought that would have been perfect. But I had to finish that last chapter in December.
Wonderful. And for anyone that is watching us live right now, in the comments and in the notes section of the bio for today's show, there is a link where you can go to Emily's. What's the link? It's your author's notes, I guess. Can you explain kind of what that is?
Yeah, it's my author's note. It kind of touches a little more on what inspired me to write the book, and just kind of a thank you. It's like that thank you note at the end of the book. And it will also, so you go in there, you get a download PDF, and you get to kind of see behind the scenes of my brain, which I don't know if that's scary or not.
Well, Emily, we wish you all of continued success. We are eager. I am super eager to get this book. So please keep us posted when it drops, so that we can go ahead and share it and promote it on all of our social platforms. And we wish the best to you. We can't wait for more books. Do you have other topics that you're trying? I know you said this is your first, but it sounded like you already have thought process into more.
Oh yeah. I want to talk through all the different aspects of athleticisms with females, because through talking to women like you and other women, I'm learning so much more. And maybe you're an athlete who goes coach. Maybe you're an athlete who goes, so my background's in mathematics. Maybe you become a sports statistician. I know that was on my dream list in college of jobs to do. And how do you break those barriers? Because those are still sports barriers that I think we're just going to pioneer through in the next 10 years.
I'm all for it.
Exactly.
That's wonderful. I love it. I love it. Well, our audience loved it. Thanks you, Steph, for coming in. Mother-in-law of the year here.
She's true, isn't she?
I love it. I love it. But thank you so much, Emily. We really look forward to you. Please let everybody know where they can find you on social media, or if they want to so they can like and follow your journey as well.
Yeah, I can throw it in the comments on Facebook, so everyone can come find me.
Okay, wonderful.
Very cool.
Thanks so much, Emily. We appreciate it, and we'll be staying tuned to waiting for the book.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye. I love it. God.
Emily Williams, you guys.
Man, round of applause.
Great to have an innovator that's going to write a book on the things that she loves most. And we never hear anything about authors talking about a coaching style or things to address to female athletes, the kind of the speak to, if you will, book for women. I like it. I'm all about it. Thanks, Goose.
Yeah, thank you. Share it.
Thanks for tapping in. Thanks
too.
for everybody that is watching right now and got to see this lovely interview, because it's a rare occasion that we have an author on. This is the first time we've actually had an author on. Actually, we've had Cecilia Towns on. Shout out to her, because she's written a book, and we've had her since she's but this is the first time we've actually had someone that we could actually speak to us on a different perspective, especially when it comes to coaching. We always blame coaches. We always talk about the misses and opportunities of coaches, and it's Very refreshing, I'll say. That's
It's
for
so
sure.
nice to see like women getting these ideas to like start like a monumental movements. Like
Well, that's the thing. It really is, because with COVID, I think that's the time where everybody was supposed to sit down, reflect, give up with ideas, and have some ingenuity to do something different. And totally using that quarantine time, look at the fruition of what she was able to do. That's amazing.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's incredible. Very good. Very, very cool.
I don't think
Thanks
Emily,
for
I know
everybody again timing in. And we didn't get a chance to shout everybody
and
out.
I don't
But
know
we
if her
thank you
link
for
will
being
come up, but if
engaging.
not, we'll make sure to post and share and tag her later. But if you're on our, Girl Chat Sports, I think we tagged her on Facebook as well as
she's on Twitter too. So I did a tag on that for her too. So, and Instagram,
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
I love it. And in that video, every time it just makes me like, oh man, maybe I should have been born like in the 90s. Not really, because then I don't want to be, but I just wish that we would have had this movement back when I was young. You know what I mean? It would have been nice. So for those that are watching, that's her Instagram there, the author _ Emily Williams. Yes.
Yeah.
I know her Facebook was in there too. So, but we can move on to a little other sports. We can keep it a little bit with, are you watching the game, Mo?
You know I am. Well, it's halftime right now. Pelicans and the Suns. They are playing in New Orleans. The score is 46-48. Pelicans are leading by 2. I just, NBA action. Like
I know, like
it's
this is your moment.
This is your moment. Games, and it's just like so intriguing. And tomorrow's game is Lakers and Nuggets at home. Our Lakers have been on a 7-game road trip. 7 games
all over the place.
They're the only team that has done a 7-game stint away like that. That is crazy. But that's what they do with these championship teams. The Warriors had to do it at one point when they won. Lakers are doing it now. I mean, now they're finally home.
How are the Lakers doing? I know they had a pretty good road test up until their loss.
Well, the last 2 games, it got a little fatigued in them, and lack of defense cost them to have some losses. But we're still in the game. I mean, hey,
and I'm wondering how much. And I'm wondering how much factors into it now that they have those new rules where you can't leave your hotel unless it's for specific, team-oriented stuff.
Well, they need to. They should have bubbled them again, but I knew these players didn't want to do a bubble anymore, and I get it. You don't want to be away from your family that long amount of a time, but at the end of the day, games are getting manipulated again because of COVID outbreaks.
Yeah.
Games are getting postponed, pushed back, scheduled. It's just a mess.
But even in the bubble, at least they could get outside their room and they could do other things because it was a legitimate bubble. Whereas now they're like confined to their hotel almost. You know what I mean? Which is, it's crazy.
They brought it on themselves. Man, be responsible. That's all I can say. Shoot.
Well, now the NBA is going to be enforcing that they're wearing like KN95 or I don't know what the KF94 is, but I'm guessing it's something similar where it's more of a medical grade kind of mask. So they're upping it. No more cloth masks for the guys in the NBA. No more.
Good, because we need them healthy. And how can you play when you may have a risk? And then you've got fans sitting closest courtside, yelling at you, whatever the case may be. And be subject to getting posed to an infection of possibly, or the virus, it's crazy. I have to applaud our Staples Center for not allowing fans at all, because it's what's necessary.
What do you think about that incident with I won't even call it an incident, but with the...
I don't. I mean, she'd never make it on Housewives of Atlanta doing that kind of stuff. And it's like what is it, 10 minutes of fame? I mean, yeah,
of course.
Whatever.
And all of her posts about after that they got kicked. I'm like, who cares? No one knows who you are. No one cares.
I mean, the thing of it is she really 25 is my question. She looked old enough to be 50, in my opinion, but I'm not going to slander the woman. It is what it is. You got your minute of fame. No one cares. No one knows who you are. You had a Karen moment with your dad. Or husband, I'm sorry, husband.
And your sister wife. And your sister wife.
And your friend. And you thought, you could get in the face. Hey, people try to risk it all to do it. Hey, whatever you do for clout. I mean, if you have LeBron James out of your mouth and you get to hashtag that and have a video associated to it, I guess that makes you insta famous. If that's what you're looking for.
Well, that's what
Other
most
than that, who
people are,
cares? I mean, these players get it all the time from fans. They really do. And
well, and that's the
sometimes
thing is that they
it's
haven't
not
had it for
malicious.
so long because there haven't been fans. So I think that's
Yeah, it makes
also
it exciting,
yeah.
but I mean, at the same time, it's like, sit down. Like he told you to sit down. He told his mama to sit down one time too. Said the same thing to his mom, and we saw it on real time on TV. So you're no exception to the rules. Sit your A down.
Nada.
Sit down. So
Oh my goodness.
it is what it is.
It's too much. It's way too much.
2021. This is the year that, we keep going with stuff hitting the fan and things coming out and resurfacing and all kinds of stuff. So, hey, NBA action is fantastic, as they say. And it's in Atlanta and Georgia. I mean, Georgia's open anyway. So the shenanigans are always.
I don't even know what masks
don't risk
are.
my players' health yelling at them. You pulled your mask down to yell. You had your little glittery mask on. Didn't double mask like the rest of normal folk. Just sit down.
It was like upper chin or something too. I don't know.
You happy? You just sitting there. You lucky to even be up
and
in the
that's
thing.
actually where the All-Star game is going to be this year. Can you imagine the cases?
God bless March. I'm telling you.
Ooh.
Everybody pray for the month of March because it's a lot of stuff going on. And and it's
spring training opens up.
All of that. So yeah. Good luck with all of that. I don't know what to say.
But yeah, so Major League Baseball had proposed to start their season a month late in the end of April. They wanted to, be cautious, take care of protocols. However, the MLBPA rejected it and was like, So apparently, Major League Baseball will remain on starting opening day on April 1st.
Yeah.
Spring training is, I think, like the 17th, like pitchers and catches report. So we'll see, but I guess there's still no idea as to if Arizona is going to allow fans at spring training. We know Florida will. I mean, it's Florida, but
Texas might too. Who knows? Arizona, though, they were allowing fans to go to the hockey games. They're allowing fans to go to these Suns games, so they may allow it for the fans to go to spring training. I know the vaccination rate of people getting vaccinated out there is higher than most states. Like a lot of people are on it. So maybe they will possibly open it up a little bit more for that. But time will tell. It's very, and then you got this new self-mutating one. Yeah. Give the dudes a full season. Yeah, you might as well. I mean, let's roll with it because, the shortened season, it's not an asterisk for my Dodgers to win that World Series. They won fair and square, but I want to see them win back-to-back on a full season as well. And if that's the case of them playing their full schedule, my only concern is they're traveling and all of that and going to these different places. Like that gets to be a little risky to me. But we just have to see how it goes. I really don't know.
Brian had the news to attend to, so he's just coming back and he said, we love Brian.
Who's winning the Super Bowl? I'm going with the person that's going to get me paid. And that's Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I have a ticket out for them to win $400 if Tampa Bay wins the Super Bowl. Not about points, no money line, no none of that. Just win-loss. And if they win, I get some money. So I'm going with the money. I'm rolling with the money.
And right now,
in my division, I don't want them to win. Why would I?
Right now, the Chiefs are favored by 3.5. The over under.
It's a terrible bet. It's plus 65.
I'm gonna take the Bucks. Money. The Bucks with the spread because I feel like they can either get to 3 or they'll win. Here's the deal. I hadn't realized this until watching the news this weekend that the Chiefs aren't even going to be in Tampa until Saturday. Like that's never happened in Super Bowl history where one of the teams shows up the day before. It's like a regular game. Can you imagine? Not only have they dealt with, let's get to the COVID barber situation in a second.
That was funny.
But can you imagine? Like it's Super Bowl. I know there's no media days and stuff like that, but to not even be in the city and to like get accustomed and just get rested and well. But you're flying in on Saturday to go to the game, so I already feel like that is going to mess it up.
Plus, you're missing some key players off your O-line, too. They're going to have a couple people out.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stop Tyreek Hill and Kelsey by not a long shot.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to
Yeah, Tampa and my money. I'm not a Chiefs fan, Brian. Like, why would I go with the Chiefs in my division? Why would I even risk that? Why would I? I'm all for the black quarterback.
And here's the deal:
but I'm not doing it. Not in the AFC West. No, that's not happening. As a Raider fan, we would never want the Chiefs to win. Why would we want that? That's just not realistic.
Well, so I don't want Tom to win, but I think the Bucks, the rest of the team, before the influx of old Patriots, deserve to win something. And I think Bruce Arians deserves to win a championship. I just feel like I said, Kansas City flying in on a Saturday, missing players. Let's get to the COVID. Let's get to the barbershop question.
First of all, before we even talk about the barber being there and spreading COVID around the team with having COVID and stuff, and they have this whole team barber. This is the thing I don't like. It's a catch-22 for both of these Super Bowls, okay? Because you have Tampa Bay, and if they win, guess who gets a ring? Who doesn't deserve it, who we didn't think was coming back to the league, but you got Antonio Brown getting a Super Bowl ring.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom has won enough. I agree. But what's enough? Because this man just said he played till he's 45 years old.
He's going to say he played till maybe after 45.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But anyway, to your... both of the tackles are hurt too. But here's the thing: if they're two on Kelsey, you got Tyreek Hill open. That's the crazy. Yeah, rooting for the Chiefs. Yeah.
It's tough. I mean,
I need my money, Brian.
I just need it to be a good game. Like, I don't want no crazy blow. It needs to go down to the wire.
I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be boring or anything like that. But check this out, Brian. You keep going with this Chiefs nonsense. I'm gonna have you pay me my $400. I'm telling you that right now.
Ooh.
Get your bank, get your checkbook out, because I need to go with the money. I need everybody to be on the money side. Who knows what I do with the money I win? I might give some people. You might want me to win this money. You never know. So let's go with it, But anyway, this barber. Talk about it, Mel. Talk about it.
So first of all, this is what I don't understand. Because if all of us, we all know men, right? We all know guys. And we know when they usually go to the barbershop. It's usually right before they're going out, a birthday, a party, a function. It's usually that day or the day before something major. So the fact that 20 guys on the Chiefs were scheduled to get their hair cut by the barber on Sunday, a whole week prior to the Super Bowl. I don't know if it was because of media days or the interviews, the online interviews, but they're all scheduled to go get the barber and have him cut his hair on Sunday. Like, they have 15-minute intervals, like 20 of them stacked, including Patrick Mahomes. Well, the first two, or the first, I don't know if it's just one that got in there first, but I'm trying to find his name again. I forgot who it was.
But the barber has COVID.
Oh, Daniel Kilgore. Yes. So Daniel Kilgore's in the chair. The barber apparently had tested negative leading up through the days. But I guess his very last test came back positive. So they went to go yank him while he's literally cutting Daniel Kilgore's hair. And apparently, since he had posted a picture with like half his head shaved, which was, I think, false, because I believe since they were already in close contact and he was going to get the odd masks on, he was going to get basically put on the COVID list anyways, that he was like, finish my hair. But had they not caught that right then, think of the 20 players all in COVID protocol.
They would have had to postpone the Super Bowl outright. I don't think they would have gone on with it.
And you can't, the thing is, you have to test negative 5 consecutive days. So this is Sunday. So you literally have to test negative all week long just to be able to go to the Super Bowl and play.
Yeah, and remember, keep in mind, your test is only for the status of that day. So you can get it in between those intervals of every time you test. So, and everybody's like, oh, I've been good.
Yeah.
No, you just tested negative for that day that you tested. We don't know the duration of the interval of the time now after your test. That just only tells you the status of that day from the time you took it, So yeah, that's crazy though. But one team barber though, you mean to tell me they don't have a backup?
Well, I'm sure they only had one because
people to cut your hair and line you up before you leave.
But why are you doing it a whole week before the game? Like, why wouldn't you want a fresh cut Friday?
I don't know. Why? I don't know. I feel like all of them have some kind of. These guys with their entourage, I know they're living in the houses with them. I know there's a barber somewhere in that entourage that's cutting up and giving them fresh lineups. You can't tell me that this one particular guy is the ultimate all team cutting everybody up like that.
Or guess what? It's COVID. Like, just cut the barber for a week. It's Super Bowl. Like, you don't have the opportunity to screw this one up just in case. Could you imagine
Sounds like it's all
any of
bad.
them on the COVID list though? With
Sounds like it's all bad for
Mahomes?
Kansas City right now. Sounds like they're not getting their just desserts as they head into this.
Oh my gosh.
Might be a sign.
What's up to Rick, our Uber guy?
Oh
in the
yeah,
house?
Uber guy. Love Uber guy.
Yes, I love it. Let's see what B Sal says. What's really crazy, if someone important got COVID, we wouldn't hear about it until after.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. They wouldn't
They never push the Super Bowl back and play without Brady.
Mahomes would be in there. Oh man.
But if Mahomes got it, then would it be postponed? I'm just asking.
Or they might not announce it. But wouldn't you have to announce it though? I think
you would, because it would be like he's saying that situation in the World Series with Justin Turner. Justin Turner was out there. They yanked him in the middle of the thing and like, you have COVID. They want, So I can see that point too. Very interesting.
I'm sure everybody's like, well, it's our last game. Like, let's just go for it, play through it. I don't know.
Maybe they're all getting a signature cut. Maybe they were getting a KC engraved in the back of their heads. Maybe it was some kind of solidarity move. Who knows?
Maybe some lightning stripes or something.
I don't know.
I just couldn't
imagine. On the back. I don't know.
When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, could you imagine all 20 of those players?
I saw that and was just shaking my head. Like, you got to be kidding me. But this is what it looks like for COVID season. It's crazy. So crazy stuff going on for real.
So for all of you out there that are betting people, this is like the supreme betting day of the year. We've got different Super Bowl picks. You can pick,
what are the prop bets looking like?
Oh my God, there's so many. I haven't even gone through them all, but like you can pick like who scores more than who. Like I think Ocho Cinco had said that he would delete his Twitter if Kelsey didn't score a touchdown. And I think he had bet that if he bet something else about, I think I can't remember who it was, having more points than Evans or more yards than Evans. But
interesting.
I mean, I can't even go through them. Like it's just ridiculous amounts of prop bets.
Yeah. Well, they've aired the commercials too, what the commercials are going to be looking like for Super Bowl Sunday. That's the one thing I kind of look forward to is the commercials. But some of the commercials have been kind of like, the last couple of years. So maybe they'll bring it this year with some commercials.
Yeah, the commercials and plus the weekend halftime show. I'm already
$7 million he has paid for his halftime show, his theatrics for the halftime. On top of what he's getting.
$7 million of his own money.
Yeah, exactly. $7
so it's going to be quite the spectacular performance. I know that I'm personally sick of his song already. Like I like
Blinded Lights.
I love it. But it's kind of like when you hear it 24/7 all the time, like that's all you hear. It's all you hear.
I heard it 24/7.
Oh, I have. It's like every station.
I like it. It makes me want to put on like my sweatband, straighten my hair out and put it in a ponytail, my leg warmers, and start doing jazzercise. That's what it makes me want to do.
You should do that for Super Bowl Sunday.
No.
Go live.
Yeah. My brother will be sitting here looking at me like, what are you doing? What is wrong with you?
And that's the other thing is that it's, this whole COVID has now impacted, like last year's Super Bowl was fine. Everybody got to have all their enjoyment, was partying, do whatever. Super Bowl Sunday's a little bit different now with
Did
COVID.
You see what the CDC put out?
No.
Yes. So the CDC has a list of things that you should not do during your Super Bowl parties.
Don't tip and dip.
Or they didn't even talk about that. They
double
didn't talk about the double dip. Well,
dippers.
Double dip thing should have been the ultimate party rule anyway. I'm a double dip police person. I watch people who double dip. I'm like, you just double dipped.
Right.
But they're talking about avoiding cheering. So you basically can't yell, chant, cheer. They prefer you to stomp or clap. Okay?
So you're going to be doing this.
Do.
Might as well play Queen in the background.
You might as well. Let's get it cracking. And then you have to wear a mask at all times. They're talking about wearing a mask at all times and remain 6 feet apart. But then here's the other thing. When there is a break, if it's a timeout or anything like that, or a halftime, do not go to the bathroom to avoid the crowds. They want you to go to the restroom during the game. You might miss a pivotal play, but they're saying when it's a commercial break or anything like that or halftime, do not try to go to the bathroom at that time to avoid the crowds and everyone else that's in it. Okay?
I cannot.
And use touchless payment options. And I shout out to the businesses that do that or have the menus that are virtual and that kind of thing. Yeah. But no chanting or cheering, no screaming. Well, I mean, if you're in your mask, who's it hurting?
It's catching. I mean, it's not
catching everything, right? So I don't
well, it's probably
understand
because
that
there's gonna be those people that wear their masks down here and
like a chin strap and think they can still, or maybe when you're taking a sip, you're like, go, and you spill it all. I don't get it.
Is that for the venues that are hosting Super Bowl parties, like there's like sports books are still having them. There's a couple of venues in Vegas on the Strip that are having them still, but per Nevada law per Nevada COVID rules right now, 4 to a table. So now, before you could have 8, 10 people, your friends, you all pitch on the table. It's like $500, $600. Now it's 4 people to have to still spend that same amount of money.
Yeah, they spending it though. I mean,
I'm sure
looks
they
real
will.
nice to me. I'm sorry, couch looks real good to me, especially if you got a big TV. I feel like it works. I don't know. I'm
prepared for this year. I got my new doing it out. Hey, listen. So Brian brought up the Michael B. Jordan Alexa Amazon commercial. Can we have you seen it?
I haven't watched it yet. Let's not. I'm sure he looks amazing, but he's with Lori Harvey now, so I'm totally off Michael B. Jordan now.
However, it's basically like this life-size Alexa who is Michael B. Jordan. Whenever you say, "Hello, Alexa, can you run me a bath?" and then Michael B. Jordan's in her bath.
The teasing is so unfair. It's so unfair. It'd be one thing when I could say, "Oh, I'm all for it," but you have a woman now, and you're posting your woman all over the place. So now all I can think about is him and her. Like, it'd be nice. Is there a doppelganger that could look like Michael B. Jordan that would appear in my bed for Alexa or my I don't know, but I can't even fantasize about this guy anymore because
I know,
but
the guy that was in A Night in Miami that played Jim Brown, is it?
I didn't watch it. It's on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. Okay, so let's talk about this whole rumor thing of Raiders kicking the tires, trying to shop other quarterbacks, which I had told you Gruden is a quarterback guy.
Of course.
They're always going to be having talks about quarterbacks coming, this kind of thing. The price tag for Deshaun is a very expensive one. I don't know if the Raiders could afford that because they want 2 1s, 2 2s, and they want 2 of your top defensive linemen. We have no defense, so we don't have a top 2 defensive lineman that we could give up for that. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they're saying Derek Carr is a very marketable quarterback that could go the other way. Like he could be marketable enough where we could still do a three-way trade with him and get Deshaun Watson or something, which would, it'll elevate us up just a notch because Deshaun Watson has rushing yards like no other compared to Carr. You still have Josh Jacobs on the line. You still have Aguilar out there. Plus, with that reunion of Deshaun Watson, Hunter Renfrow will actually get touches now. He will actually get the ball thrown to him, and he has great hands. So do I have a problem with them suggesting this? Not really. I mean, the only thing is the Texans willing to take Derek Carr when they've had his brother in the past on that Houston Texas team. That didn't work out in their favor. So I don't know how that would look. But the fact that, and all GMs of all teams talk during off season about quarter. They all shop. It's just like you're shopping for something you're really not looking for, but you're just going to put it out there and just see what's going to happen. Window shopping, and we'll see what pops up. But the steam is really kind of rising to this. And people had gotten on Colin Cowherd for saying that, if Raiders decided to go after Deshaun Watson, they could give up Derek Carr, Darren Waller, and all these Raider fans. Raider Nation went nuts.
Don't give up Waller. No.
Yeah, why would you give up Waller? Why would you do that? This kind of thing. And that's just a crazy notion. Why would that happen? Well, here's the thing. We're in Vegas. Vegas is lights, stars, everything. If we were to get rid of Shiny and Bright, if we were to get rid of a Darren Waller, what star power do you think of a tight end we could get? Could it be a George Kittle? Could it be, someone of that, And
says, I think they're asking for so much that teams aren't willing to go there. They then they go back and tell Watson, we tried, bro. See what training.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. That's a funny thing about that because the Texans even have leverage on Deshaun Watson's training camp. So if he doesn't show up to training camp, he gets a hefty fine, right? He gets $50,000 a day. He does not show up for camp. If he agrees to not, show up for any of these practices, he gets another fine. They have a $21.6 million cap, and they could potentially lose all that, even if Deshaun were to quote say, "I retire and I'm leaving," But the leverage that the Texans want for this guy is a very expensive price tag. I don't know any team. 49ers might look at him.
Because they don't really want to give him up. That's the whole point.
Well, they don't, but he wants to leave. And since he's asked to be traded, they're going to oblige him and try to get him traded. But they definitely want a lot for it. They don't have to, but they are willing to have the talk.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not just the Raiders that could shop for him. San Francisco could look at him too. I mean, a lot of teams could look at him. I don't know what's going to happen with the Stafford and Stafford being in the Rams. Everybody's saying that's going to be a force. This guy has been in the league for 12 years. You had a Megatron and a Golden Tate, and you still didn't go to the playoffs. So I don't understand how that's going to work. But new team, New Jersey, maybe something will change. I don't know. But for Raiders, I think it's just talk. I don't think we can afford Deshaun. But if we got him, that would be awesome.
Says rumors are now floating that he'll sit out if not traded.
He loses a lot of money because they're going to find him. That's the leverage that the Texans have. I read that too.
And who's going to drop 40 mil? Like, that's an Antonio Brown move. Like, that's not
right. And he's not going to. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
He might be upset and angry, but he'll have to come play because
it'll be a $95,000 fine just initially if he doesn't, decide to play. Training camp alone is 50, then 600,000 each game or something crazy number. Like, yeah, he'll probably get traded. Somebody's gonna take him. I mean, the Jets definitely could afford him, but they don't have the leverage on the defensive end. He wouldn't want to go there. No, he wouldn't. And in his contract, even with him, Deshaun has in that contract of his trade, he gets to pick where he wants to go. Like he can agree or disagree of where he does. He gets to choose if he wants to take it or not.
Yeah.
It's not a, forced thing. So I just find it all interesting. But, every day new news pops up. He may become a Raider. I mean, if he does, hey, I welcome it. Get them run yards going. But we need defense. We need defense badly. We don't have it. That's our issue. Offensively, we were doing our thing. We were okay. And Derek Carr is not one of those jump at quarterbacks. He's actually proven himself to be who we thought he was all along. Just the injury forced him to kind of mute his play and his own mentals and all of that, but he got it back starting in the last season with us. So,
well, I mean, they could just get rid of Carr and Mariota.
Well, Mariota probably will be gone anyway. I don't know if Mariota's going to stay. I mean,
give him the 2 for 1.
Where's Mariota going to go? And New England still doesn't have a quarterback. What's going on with them? Are they shopping him too?
Raiders, Miami, or Jacksonville, huh, Nate?
With Tua and Fitz, I don't know.
I think Jacksonville would probably be a good look.
Jacksonville probably be a good look for Carr. I could see him flourishing there. I could see him doing something there.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who the heck knows?
But one thing I found funny in this whole thing that the news popped up is that the Falcons have decided to keep Julio Jones and Matt Ryan, which
really
one team needs to make some changes because nothing's changing. That's the key team. I mean, Atlanta they're not doing anything. They got talent. It's not doing anything on the field. So make a couple moves, especially.
And Atlanta will be right where they were this past season, and that's fine. Go ahead, do that division the way you want to do it. Because guess what? Now when I have my picks and everything like that, and make some money, I can make money off of y'all. Yeah, you keep that mantra going.
Oh my God!
I still think Justin Herbert's going to be the king of LA out of this whole football celebrity scenario.
I mean, here's Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's going to obviously bring a little experience, and he'll be able to work well under McVay. But are the Rams is it going to change the Rams?
I mean, what's that look for you in the NFC West? I feel like that gives you guys even more leverage to do something that's.
I mean, if they get more weapons, it's going to be good for maybe Kupp and for a couple of the receivers to have consistency there. But as far, I don't know. I just feel like
I don't either.
I don't know. I don't know if Matthew Stafford is not the poster child for LA anything.
I'm telling you, it's Justin Herbert. That's all. Basically, you also set the Chargers up to look good in some degree.
Check out Mom checking in. Thanks.
Oh, she remembers your shirt.
You remember my Bitter Lake shirt, Mom? Thank you.
Does she remember it?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully she does.
Many years having to karate at Bitter Lake. We took
basketball
at Bitter Lake. I mean, That
is
was
too funny that you can still fit that shirt. It
my
is
girl
incredible.
Tasha worked at Bitter Lake up until, I don't know, a few years ago, working in the community center there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man,
that is too funny.
Yeah, I know. It's too
If
much.
I bust out one, I would. Oh my god, I'd be Incredible Hulk in one of my t-shirts right now. No way could I wear it.
It's a little tight here, but
Oh my god, that is
but
too funny.
I literally, I'm gonna go find. I know I'd hit up Tasha earlier today because I was like, "Yo, do you still have the picture of our group picture from basketball?" Because it was this team that I was wearing it in, and she didn't have it anymore. But I know my mom, if you're watching, go find the Bitter Lake jersey, the Bitter Lake group picture, because there is one somewhere. And you can see that it's obviously a looser shirt, but now it's like a
He said obviously a looser shirt. I love it. Oh, shout out to before we get into our girl power too, Jeremy Lin. Did you hear about Jeremy Lin?
No.
He is the first Asian American basketball star with a signature shoe.
What?
Yes, he is coming out with a sneaker. The first ever. And I saw a picture of the sneaker, and the sneaker ain't bad. It's actually a pretty dope kick. It's actually pretty nice. I'm not in the front. I don't know what the price. I don't know what the price point is, but I kind of like that green on it. It's a pretty fly shoe.
Right.
Oh, he said he played rec ball at Bitter Lake.
I'm saying
Bitter Lake.
Between Bitter Lake and Green Lake. Like, I mean, it was like
I'm picturing Bitter Lake, this cabin. I'm picturing like it's Crystal Lake or something. I need to see what.
Like in Seattle, there's so many little lakes, like a neighborhood.
Bitter Lake.
It was the name. Is Bitter Lake.
The most bitterest lake out of all. Did the water taste bitter? I have so many questions.
No.
Why is it Bitter Lake?
I feel like I don't know. It was just the name. It's the name of the little lake.
Deal. Yeah. Man. Bitter Lake. All I see is these cabins lined up. This lake.
It was literally. I could have rode my bike probably.
In a pole, and this other I'm just picturing a whole lot of interesting I don't know.
But see, that's because here in Vegas, when you think about a lake, you think, okay, Lake Las Vegas, Lake Mead, but they're all in the distance. Like, think about in Seattle or the greater Seattle area, like every 10 miles, there's a little lake in someone's little community that you don't really know of unless you saw.
Are there big trees and all that kind of stuff? Like, I'm thinking there's
tons of huge trees. Seattle's all trees.
Yeah, so I'm thinking there's trees. There's this little astroturf.
I mean, you would get your floaty in the summertime. Maybe not Bitter Lake, but Holler Lake. You'd get your floaty and go float in the lake, and it's like little lakes. Like you could probably swim across it a couple times. But
now I've been to Kirkland, and Kirkland looked kind of more beachy than anything than a lake.
Well, Kirkland's on Lake Washington, which is a huge lake. It's not like a little neighborhood lake. Like Lake Washington is huge.
But Bitter Lake is like a little.
Yeah, it's a little lake. It's just like a little. It's almost like a pond that you think if you were thinking of like a pond.
Yeah, I'm picturing it. I'm telling you, trees everywhere, cabins, little blacktop court with a tree stump made pole with a basketball hoop and a backboard. That's what I'm picturing. Or I'm picturing the backboard and the hoop on a literal tree, like on a strong tree.
They actually had the indoor basketball course and outdoor basketball.
There's a lake, and you see people swinging and stuff, dropping in the lake, and then you see cabin and summer camp counselors coming around, and you guys all you got the little green tea, it's a Bitter Lake.
It's like Nate said, so it's basically from downtown Seattle all the way north to probably like Everett and further. There's just lakes like every 5 to 10 miles. Just random.
I'll never see it. That's just my vision.
Me one time.
No. I don't know if I want to see Bitter Lake.
Love crab. It'll be great.
Well, that I can get with, but I don't want to see Bitter Lake if there's a Jason type scenario out there because I'll be running.
This ain't like a cabin and camping. Oh my god.
Bitter Lake.
In regards to WNBA free agency, our aces.
We got a player.
Guard.
Yeah.
Chelsea Gray from the Sparks, who was phenomenal. She was actually in the All-Star game that we went to in Everest. That's great. We did lose Danielle Robinson. She's going to Fever. We did extend Derek Hamby's contract, though, so that's great. And then there were a couple other moves. We'd already talked about Candace Parker. We had talked about Kayla.
And Chelsea said Bill was the one that really struck the catalyst for her. He had stated to her that it's a big, small town like Vegas is, but the women are the focal point of the city. And that struck a chord with her and said, that's what got me kind of
and then it's
into it.
building,
The women.
it's booming, it's starting to get
Yes,
exactly really excited. So I think that's lovely. I think it's great.
Yeah.
My mom said she'll take a picture of Bitter Lake for you.
Oh, please do. Please. You know what? Honestly, Ms. Ferris, Dorian, you don't have to necessarily do that. As soon as I get off the show, I'm going to Google Bitter Lake and look at the pictures and the images. But if you actually happen to go there, hey, Heather, go safely. You can take me a pic and send it.
She's not going to do it now. We're not going to encourage mom to go.
Right. But whenever, you got
it's literally
out that way. If she's even driving and just happens to, pull over to the side and snap a quick pic.
She can go take Nala for a walk there.
Yeah. Bitter Lake. Bitter Lake.
Oh my God.
I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up. I'm so fascinated by this lake talk.
Bitter Lake is not near Federal Way. It is up north in Shoreline. Well, it's on the cusp of Seattle and Shoreline. I don't know. Maybe there's a second Bitter Lake in Fredway. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to look it up. I'm just going to Google it. Bitter Lake, Washington.
Please do.
And just see what pops up. And if I see one cabin on there, I'm be like, I was right.
Oh, look at Quan checked in for a hot second. He said, you got famous people watching your show.
Oh, yeah, of course. We're famous.
Yeah, Quan, you're one of them.
Right. You too.
Hello. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I love Quan. Quan, how about them Lakers, though?
I cannot. What can we get off the cabins?
It's got cabins. I knew it. I'm going to look it up.
I'm gonna, Lexi don't know. She's never been to Seattle. Stop.
Lexi says it's got cabins. I know it does. I know.
Look at my mom with her emojis.
I know it has cabins. I know it. I'm going to see tents. I'm going to see cabins. And I'm going to see a blacktop with a basketball hoop and a backboard on a tree.
No, but there is a basketball hoop on a tree in my front yard at my house.
That's what I picture Washington to be. That's what I picture Washington to be. I mean, I guess no other than that. I've only been to Seattle one time. And the one time that I went, that's all I could just envision. Even though I was more into the city, I mean, I did do a few little tourist things, but out in outskirts somewhat for friends that live there. But I am picturing this to be that Bitter Lake situation.
I love how it went from the National Girls and Women in Sports Day to Bitter Lake. It's just been all Bitter Lake.
Give it up to Bitter Lake. Prosperous people coming out of Bitter Lake. Shout out to Mel.
Man,
Luke,
I'm saying.
Coming out of Bitter Lake.
I'm saying. Oh, wow.
Shirt and all.
Look at the Lexi and Amanda out there Googling Bitter Lake.
Yes, it's pretty. Oh, I can't wait to see it. It is so funny because she's wearing this shirt and it's kind of like, oh, I played at Bitter Lake and all I got was this t-shirt.
This was like for a couple of seasons. And then we had a blue shirt.
I played for a couple of seasons and all I got was this t-shirt.
No, because then the blue season, I think I was in middle school and we actually won the city championship that year.
Okay.
Maybe I was a freshman in high school.
Did you get a trophy?
Yes. I think my mom still has trophies that she wants me to toss away. And I'm like, don't toss them. They're my trophies.
Right.
Hello?
You need to bring those home.
I'm saying.
You need to have all the Bitter Lake accomplishments up on the shelf with a picture of your team and then a picture of Bitter Lake next to it with the cabins and everything. I just want to see.
There's no cabins. There's no cabins.
Tall trees, the lake. I'm going to look it up.
Quan and Brian are going on a little all the burner accounts. Well, we know B-Sal does have a couple, so you know.
Hey, the burner phone is what's working right now. They ain't gonna keep tabs on you.
Brian Salmon comes through with the sock game, though. If you guys watch Channel 3
you know
News,
what? His socks. He posted his socks, and I had to say I didn't like it. I'm kidding. I liked it. No, I got better socks for you, B-Sal. You just never come and see me. You never come see me in the store. I could give you a whole bunch of different socks. I got socks that were too easy. I'm going to make them complicated. I'm going to give you some socks. Oh, you know what? I got these Grinch socks. That would look so fly if he wore all of that. That would be so funny.
Brian, I got bad ankles. I used to wear air casts. Let's just leave it. Basketball days is over. This hip and these knees now, I can barely do my hike. So
if you can't do a hike, that's a whole lot because I know I couldn't get through one of those.
Girl power. This is just the W8 in general because they basically were There was a WNBA racial and gender report card, which is the RGRC, that came out today, that they are the leader in charge for social change, athlete activism, and diverse hiring practices. So they had A+ grades and scoring of 96%, 98% in racial hiring practices, gender hiring practices.
Are we surprised?
No, but hello, let's keep it going. Hopefully this can overflow.
Maybe this needs to be overflowing to the NBA so we can see some other changes too.
And one of the most notable improvements was from last year to this year was women as a CEO and president positions. 7 of the 12 positions that were held by women in 2020, it's increased 2 from last year. And of course, who was it? Our old assistant coach is the new head coach for the Dallas Wings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I need these Suns to get it together. Speaking of which, on the Suns too, Chris Paul has a documentary on ESPN Plus. He's featuring it's basically a production on Why Not Us. I'll definitely rock some socks for you, Mo. You know what I'm gonna show you. Yeah. Talk is cheap. We have yet to see you. All right. Moving on.
But Quan said he'll take some socks.
I got you, Quan, and I got you some Laker socks too. I get you some Stans joints. Those
no,
be dope.
Don't give him those until Magic Quanson makes an appearance.
Especially if I win that money on Sunday. Socks for everybody. I'm gonna go to the Stan store and I'm gonna look at all kinds of crazy little socks for folks.
Vicky Johnson, thank you, Miss Molly. Yes.
Hey, Miss Molly. Yes.
So hey, listen. No, hang on. Heather, I will take you on. I can shoot at Dave & Buster's now. I got a shot. I will take you on at Dave & Buster's. That's a chance.
I can do what's that other place? Bourbon Street. I did hoops over there. They have a little hoop thing with tickets.
Maybe we need to have a little Girl Chat Sports hoop session at like a Dave & Buster's to shoot.
Yeah. I haven't been to the Dave & Buster's here. Is it good?
Up in Summerlin, yeah.
I haven't been.
I liked it.
I haven't been.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's producing this documentary called Why Not Us? HBCUs. I got to shout out my HBCUs about North Carolina Central. It airs on the 12th of February. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. Just basically the inclusion of why HBCUs sometimes get foreshadowed and don't get looked at when it comes to drafts and all that kind of stuff. And he's really, really highlighting this, and he's been very passionate about this whole subject. So if you guys have ESPN Plus, check it out. That might be cool. Also, my Southern University Alumni Association is still, there's a link. I need to post that link.
Yeah.
And I posted it again for our fundraiser on the painting party, the virtual paint party. It's towards the end of the month, but $25, you get the stencil kit. You can paint the drum major any type of colors you want. I prefer the blue and gold, but it's going to be a virtual paint party. There's going to be a Zoom, all of that good stuff.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Natalie too, who inquired about it. So I feel like she's going to buy a kit, and I really appreciate that. I personally can't sit on this virtual party, but there is also a link. If you cannot make it, there's a link to donate too. Cause that would be great.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a Dave & Buster's shootout could be in the works, because it looks like we got some challengers.
Well, that's on you, because I don't know if I can do it.
Heather says she's undefeated. And
oh, wow. Heather?
Yeah, Quan says that maybe Magic Quanson will show up for the.
He said not against Magic Quanson. Let's hope he shows up, huh?
I don't know. From what I hear, he can't find half his uniform.
He can get a new one.
You think he
That's
would?
Accessible.
Being a Laker that he is, he should have it already.
Maybe he doesn't want to have the special ones ruined. You know, I get it. But we'll find you one, Quan. Yeah. Boy, everybody's screaming for an outing. Wow.
I know.
As Dave & Buster's and Magic Quanson, that'd be dope. And we can't get you on the show. We can't get him on the show though. But he can show up at Dave & Buster's. Ain't that something?
I mean,
that's crazy.
Anyways, you guys, we've been going long. It's already over time. We love chatting it up with you.
I know, and I gotta get back to Cobra Kai. Y'all keep ready for my Cobra Kai. Like, I really need to tap into this Cobra Kai situation.
Season 3 sucks. Don't even waste.
I'm gonna watch it.
Season 3 was like, okay, now we're getting a little. It's just a little too. It's just it went over.
I'm into it. It's already cheesy to me in season 2. We know it's a little corny.
I mean, but it went from being cheesy and fun to being like, this is starting to get ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I can't. Well, I'm gonna watch it and find out. I gotta finish it.
Okay.
I'm in the thick of it now. But thanks you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. Emily Williamson. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Yes. Make sure you watch out for her book to come. We'll keep you
Yes.
posted. Lady-thletes. I can't wait for it. We encourage you all to get it for all the young girls in your lives. And other than that, hey, we will work on this Dave and Buster's thing, the shootout. We will pick and plan a date for this because it's definitely
Safely. I
got
can't have
to
all
go
these people
down.
around. It may be just Mel representing that because I'm not.
You can
I don't
keep
know.
score. Make sure everybody's following the rules.
Why I gotta be the scorekeeper?
Well, what do you want? Then play.
I'm not coming. How about that? Because it's too much right now with COVID. I'm scared of Dave and Buster's.
We can
What's
do
going
it like
on in there?
through vaccine time. We can get it later on. Maybe a spring.
Did you get yours yet?
No. I can't. I think they told me I could get one tomorrow, but I'm like, here's the deal. Knowing me, I haven't had a flu shot ever in my life. This would be the first shot. I don't want to be sick on Super Bowl. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I know that sounds
could be
I
problematic.
stay in the house anyway, so like.
Yeah. So let me get my thing, and then I'll definitely be a little more open to Dave and Buster's night or something. Because I've never been to Dave and Buster's. I heard it was kids in there. I always like it.
We're not going to go kick it with the kids in the video games. We're strictly going for basketball for shots. I don't remember the name of the game. Like, what is a hot shot or something like that?
Well, Heather's name is on that board. Is reigning champion currently. Yeah,
maybe she's undefeated. Maybe she's undefeated to her son, or to maybe dates or something. I'm not sure.
I want to see her name up on the board. Maybe her name's up on the light board. Like she's really that deep, that great of a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys, we appreciate you for joining in.
Yes.
Again, thanks to Emily Williams. We'll post some of the content about that. Keep posting her book. Other than that, that's it for us. We appreciate you. We'll catch you next week. See ya.
Sounds good. See you guys. This game.